Isn't it Mexican?
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
No, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. They're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room. I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. If I'm not pointing you towards the truth, then I'm not talking about anything worthwhile. I'm not saying anything. So thank you, those that listen to my show. You come and listen to my segments, my calls, my rambling. Sincerely, I do appreciate it. But if I'm not talking about the truth, I'm not talking about anything. And I really appreciate it. You know, we had a great flight on Friday. We had a great flight, landed that plane, and you were all there. It was great. So don't miss the Friday show. Make sure to subscribe and follow me here on YouTube and other platforms. I'll say hi to y'all. But if I'm not pointing you towards the truth, then I'm not talking about anything. Blaming, taking sides, getting angry at criticism, hating your enemies, hating at all. You know. Yeah. That's the opening. That's the opening. We're gonna get into a show here. I got something for you guys. But let me say hi. It's Monday. Welcome. What's up, Echo? We're getting an echo. Hit me. Bill. They're saying there's an echo. I'm talking to you guys. Can you hear me? I think there's no echo now, but echo on my opening there. So let me say hi to y'all. What's up, Rumble? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Gorgonzola over there on DLive. Follow and subscribe, guys. Thank you. Over there in Rumble, all the platforms. What's up, everybody? Hey. So, honestly, back into what I was saying. If I'm not talking about the truth, I'm not talking about anything. So I'm just going to get into it, barring any other echoes or anything. Let me know. Last week, there was some drama between these two Daily Wire hosts. You know them because I talked about them. Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. You know them because they had a bit of a public spat online. It started off on X, on Twitter, right? With a video circulating of Ben Shapiro at what seemed to be a private event. You know, expressing what he thought about Candace Owens' comments on the Israel-Palestine conflict. He called it disgraceful. That is a faux sophistication on part of Candace. It was like a bombastic thing. It was all over the news. A lot of people were talking about it. I talked about it. And Candace appeared on Tucker Carlson's show and actually spoke about these comments. I covered them as well. The two laid out some reactions and commentary on a few things that they have noticed since this conflict broke out. They pointed out their major grievances. You know, one was the glaring hypocrisy of some Jewish donors and intellectuals, commenters in the news who were silent when whites were being taught anti-white ideology in school. They pointed out the sudden emotion of people who identify strongly with the conflict, and how this emotion really has a clouding effect on our perception, not unlike the George Floyd era, all those riots and all that, where Black Lives Matter would accept no nuance on the topic. Anything but full allegiance to the cause was racism, or anti-Semitism, as they're saying now. This all takes on a much more significant meaning when it's happening here in America, in our home, politicians, leaders, our media, being co-opted by foreign influence in countries and interest groups. See, those are all real things. Those are all real things that we could talk about. And so this Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens things happened. And it was looking like, wow, at least this was the conversation. Oh, it was looking like Ben Shapiro's controlled opposition. He cares about Israel more than America. They're trying to silence Candace, Zionist shill, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't care about Israel more than America. I'm not saying all that. But that's the conversation. I saw the cheers online. Yeah, heck yeah, Candace Owens. I even said on my show, I'm on Team Candace, I said. Now, I said that with some awareness, obviously. It's not an allegiance. You have to have a space with all people. But I did say those words. I even said, I'm on Team Candace. Elon Musk got into the conversation as well, if you remember. It wasn't the spat between the two, the Daily Wire hosts, but it was at this time that Elon Musk responded to a tweet or a post on X.com. And he posted simply this. He said, "You have said the actual truth," in a reply to a user talking about some of the stuff that Candace was talking about with Tucker. In fact, the White House came out against Elon Musk, condemning his abhorrent anti-Semitic tweets, they're saying. Now, all he did was say, "You have said actual truth," to a tweet. Essentially, the tweet said, I'll read it for you here. The tweet was in response to someone saying, "Oh, cowards are hiding behind the anonymity of the internet, posting Hitler was right. You got something to say?" Someone on Twitter said, "Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them." It was Elon Musk who responded and said, "You have said actual truth." The conversation went on, and he described his grievance against the ADL and, clarified his comments here. The White House condemned his comments as anti-Semitic. And so that was the vibe. What's Ben gonna say? What's Ben gonna say on his show? Is he gonna comment on Elon? Is he a Zionist shill? Blah, blah, blah. Waiting on the edge of their seats, sort of. Well, just have some I find interesting what happened here, because Ben Shapiro did go on his show and he talked about Elon Musk. He actually defended Elon Musk. He defended Elon Musk against these claims of anti-Semitism being lobbed against him. And I want to play you a little bit of his show. Just a little bit here, because I want you to see if you can see what I saw. And allow me to paint this picture further. So how about we watch just a little bit? This clip was posted by Elon Musk.
My grievances.
And like I said, it was about kind of what's going on here. How about we watch this beautiful clip here? Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, on Elon Musk and anti-Semitism.
Oh, they just have some legitimate grievances. Some of the same dynamic has been striking Elon Musk over the course of the last 24 hours. So Musk made a rather large Twitter boo-boo last night, somebody on Twitter posted the following message, quote, Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of dialectical hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. I'm deeply disinterested in giving the tiniest bleep now about Western Jewish populations, coming to the disturbing realization that those hordes of minorities that support flooding their country don't exactly like them too much. You want truth said to your face? There it is. So that was the tweet. Musk then tweeted, you have said the actual truth. And this set everything ablaze. So it is true, obviously, that certain Jewish organizations have bought into and promoted things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, which are gross distortions of the American dream. Nobody hates DEI more than I do. There are certain Jewish groups that are liberal in orientation who have supported that sort of stuff. Many of those groups have also pushed for open borders. It is also true that some of those organizations are now realizing post-October 7th that actually open immigration for people who hate Jews on an intersectional basis was pretty stupid. The problem with the original tweet is that it labels Jewish communities en masse. So my community, for example, pretty Jewish, has always opposed DEI and open borders. In fact, most Orthodox communities do. Presumably then, Musk was reading the term Jewish communities and instead seeing the letters ADL. And indeed, that's exactly what Musk then clarified. He said, quote, the ADL unjustly attacks the majority of the West, despite the majority of the West supporting the Jewish people in Israel. This is because they cannot, by their own tenets, criticize the minority groups who are their primary threat. It is not right, and it needs to stop. And then Musk continued, you are right that this does not extend to all Jewish communities. It is not just limited to the ADL. So that's a much more specific point, and it's certainly true. There are a lot of liberal Jewish organizations that supported a lot of the same policies that have now imported a lot of people who really hate Jews and Westerners into the West. And a lot of the very same people who are pushing DEI intersectional politics are now realizing the wages of that. That's true. The original tweet was wildly overbroad. But a huge number of people in the media decided now was the time to link Musk and the alt-right and the so-called Jewish question and support the notion that Musk is some sort of crypto-Nazi. Now, it's not a coincidence, again, that a lot of the people doing just that are happily calling for Israel to cease fire in its war with Hamas. See, very often anti-Semitism becomes a political football. When you can hang the label on Donald Trump or Elon Musk and you're on the left, you do it. However, when you're forced to denounce pro-Hamas protesters shouting from the river to the sea, Palestine must be free, suddenly you get a little shy. Thus, the same media, leaping on both Trump and Musk, has been downplaying the open Jew hatred at massive pro-Hamas protests around the globe, instead propagating lies about Israel's supposed human rights violations. Instead, they're focusing in on their political enemies like Trump and Musk and deeming them the acolytes of Hitler. Meanwhile, the actual Hitler acolytes who are out there waving Mein Kampf, they're like, those people, I mean, they are oppressed and brown. It might have more bite to hit Trump and Musk for supposed anti-Semitism if these people actually spent some actual time talking about the people who actually like Hitler on planet Earth, who are right now holding some 240 Jews and others hostage in Gaza and killed 1,200 people and have subjected the Gaza Strip to complete hellish tyranny for the last 20 years. But a lot of these same people are totally silent.
Okay, so thank you, Ben Shapiro there. So without going through every statement with a fine-tooth comb and nitpicking because, you know, I don't agree with everything Ben says in general. I'm not talking about this clip in particular. But without going through every statement here, you know, human rights violations, the war itself, he stood up for Elon Musk. My point is that Ben Shapiro is more Christ-like than any of the blamers and people who took sides. It seems like he defended Elon Musk on principle here. And it's not about allegiance. It's not about agreeing with everything or disagreeing with everything someone says. But I want to point out that what didn't you hear Ben say? He didn't bring up Candace. He didn't bring up mess. Now, they had some sort of spat online, and I really don't know any much further. I don't watch either of their shows. So it could very well be that Ben did go on his show and was talking about a bunch of stuff, but I haven't seen the clips. They're not going viral. I didn't see any commentary like that. Yet, he's talking about the topic at hand. Elon, anti-Semitism, Israel, and defending Elon on principle. Now, you may disagree with a number of things here, but you can't say that he's being the ADL right now. Not a peep on the drama. And it's like the boss and employee relationship here and airing dirty laundry on Tucker Carlson and all that. That's not to discount anything Candace Owens was saying about the conflict. Do you see a little bit of what I'm talking about here? Because I really want to engage with the Jew critics. I do. Dual loyalty in our government, foreign countries influencing and using using the American public. But blaming is for losers. Blaming is for losers. Am I a loser? I really didn't want to answer that question. I want to engage with them because subversion of Christianity is an existential threat and a real one. So I want to engage with them, but why is it happening? Why is Christianity being subverted, and how do you fix it? You're not Candace Owens. You're not Tucker Carlson. What I mean by that is don't watch their fights and identify with them. Because ultimately, this conversation gets down to what? It gets down to, why is Christianity being subverted? Well, it's the Jews, and it's because they deny Jesus. Do you ever get mad? Do you blame others in your head? Are you weak to women? Are you a simp and you believe that you're all those things? And you actually believe that you're those things, that you're a loser, you're a blamer? Then you hate Jesus. Then you reject Christ. The Jews reject Christ. Anybody catch church reject? A great conversation with one of the churchgoers there who mentioned this very same thing on how the Jews reject Christ. Jesse was saying it's the dumbest thing he ever heard. It shows that anyone who says that, it seriously shows you have no love. I got another one for you guys. I have another phrase that I think is the dumbest thing. It shows you have no love. The Jews killed Jesus. They killed God. They killed God, man. That's why Christianity is being subverted. Listen, guys, I want to engage with the Jew critics. I do. But saying the Jews killed Jesus, it means nothing. Didn't he die for our sins? So we all killed him. We all killed Jesus. And he was meant to do that. You know, Jesse had this 4-minute assignment for the week. If you guys caught church. The assignment was to come home and do nothing for 4 minutes. Come home and do nothing. Turn off your phone, whatever. But whatever you got to do to do 4 minutes of doing nothing. And it's so funny. Everyone who didn't do the assignment right had the same exact thoughts. They thought, including me, well, do I need a timer? Well, I do the silent prayer. I already do the silent prayer. I'll just do the silent prayer. I did it for longer. I remember Jesse during church when he brought that, when that was the point, telling us, well, you can't follow instructions. Your mind told you to do something else, and you went with that. Right then and there, my mind told me, oh, that's so obtuse. Like, whatever, Jesse, 4 minutes. I sat there silently. What do you want me to do? I sat there silently. I did the assignment. That's what my thoughts told me. I knew it wasn't true. I knew there was a point he was making. But I didn't quite, I'm not saying I totally understood it, but I realized I do understand it. Everyone who didn't do the assignment right had the exact same thoughts. Satan spoke to us in the mind the same way. And told us the same things. Oh, you do the silent prayer. Just sit silently. I don't know. Do you need a timer or not? Just sit there silently. Now, I'm not blaming Jews here, but imagine I was. And then I'm out here not following instructions and saying fake deep stuff at church just to get an ego boost. I answered Jesse's thing on the 4-minute. I said, yeah, because I do the silent prayer. I said, yeah, Jesse, the thoughts came as they do, but once I noticed the thought, it unraveled all the previous blah, blah, blah. I said nothing. Imagine I was out here blaming the Jews and saying fake deep stuff at church for an ego boost. If I'm not talking about the truth, then I'm not talking about anything at all. And I'm blessed that I don't have to take a side. I may do it mistakenly, but I'm blessed because I know I don't really have to. I know I don't have to take a side, and it's so freeing. I'm blessed for that. People ask me, well, Nick, are you American? Are you Canadian? What's your allegiance? What are you? Are you Colombian? Anchor, what are you? I'm blessed I don't have to take a side and adopt an identity. All I have to do is watch myself and shake off the ones I already have. And I'm blessed for that. And if I'm not talking about that, and I'm not pointing you towards that, then I'm not talking about anything. Hello? Anybody? You guys asleep? Hello? You guys following me here? So interesting, too. I mean, just to continue church on a little bit here, you know, people are asking Jesse about, well, it was a little unclear, to be fair. But, you know, people were like, about taking sides. Well, someone was saying that, well, you could take that too far, Jesse. You could take sides. Oh, don't take sides too far. And then I think the point was, well, there's people here in America who are taking sides with Israel and causing us and da-da-da. But the point here is to love them. You think just because Jesse says to love them, that means you can't defend yourself? You can't defend your country? It's just the point is you don't even know what it is to I don't know what it is to really defend it, because what we're talking about here, what many probably don't know, is the crux of what we're talking about here is quote unquote defending Christianity. But how do you do that? Well, we got to fight. We got to fight the trans people. We got to fight the Jews. The thing is, you won't even know how to deal with it. It's like you're assuming for some reason that Americans don't deserve to be overtaken by Muslims, Jews, or anybody who's not a Christian. So all of a sudden you don't think you don't deserve that? You think all of a sudden because, oh, well, I don't have to really discover Christianity. I don't have to really overcome anger. We just got to push it politically, and we just got to not everybody's going to get it, right? And so you think you don't have to. And then you wonder, well, why isn't Christianity being defended? Well, it's because Israel, blah, blah. Look, like I said, I want to engage with the Jew critics. Because, like I said, foreign influence, interest groups, those are all real things. The subversion of Christianity. But how is that happening? Our hearts are wicked. We don't love. How are you going to convince a Jew about anything if you're just like angry and everybody else, like the world? If I'm not pointing you towards love, then I'm talking about a whole bunch of nothing. And that's what's up. And that's the show. That's just what's on my mind, folks. You know, what else? What else? I mean, that's just what's on my mind. They say, you know, it's like you're saying, it's like, people assume that we don't deserve to be overtaken. We need more white babies. We need more Christianity. But at the same time, you don't just deserve all that. You don't even know what that is. Just what's on my mind today, folks. How you doing, Rumble? How you doing, D-Live? Amazing. You know, I'm looking at Javier Milei. You guys know this guy? Argentine. ¡Que viva la libertad! I believe he's the new president of Argentina. They're saying he's a nationalist, populist, blah, far-right populist. I mean, those are all good things. Don't identify with terms, but when the media uses those terms, hey, that might not be such a bad thing, huh? They're calling him a nationalist. They're calling him a populist. Radical, libertarian, populist elected president of Argentina, Javier Milei. He tweeted, "Ahora Donald Trump 2024," after he got elected. Nice. I mean, if you love Trump, you gotta be at least somewhat right. If you know, you know. If you disagree, you can call in 888-775-3773. But I'm looking at this tweet, and he's like, I want Donald Trump 2024, which is what the American people want. And I'm looking at what the Argentinian people want. And I don't know too much about what's going on there. I really don't. But I am seeing people on my side, in my playground, in my sandbox, in my chat, in my Twitter. They see this one picture of Javier Milei with a Israel pin on his chest. And they go, Zionist, blah, blah, blah. And these are the same people who got excited for Trump and saw Trump as something special. And Trump, even in 2016, you could lob the same accusations at him. Zionist! But where's the love? What if the Argentinian people have a chance here? If you've seen those videos of those crowds of women screaming that abortion got allowed in Argentina, you remember that? Doesn't it remind you about America a little bit? What if they have a chance? Now, I don't know anything about Javier Milei. Maybe he's a loser. I really don't know. But look, I'm just talking about us here. I'm talking about us. Where's the love? And don't get me wrong, all this awareness of the conflict and dual allegiances, and that's pretty cool. That's a fair question. What does a president of this country have to do with loving and caring so much about another country? But don't lose the plot here. As whatever you think about Israel, I mean, it does, that area and all that, not the state that was created in 1948, maybe not that specifically, but that area in Judaism and Christianity, you got to be a hater to not see the connection a little bit, like a Christian caring about the grand story. You know, there's a lot of Christians, Catholics out here saying, well, what's happening with Israel is God versus the devil. It's Satan versus Jesus. And so if you really saw it like this grand religious thing, can't you understand the people who care about Israel in a spiritual sense? I'm not commenting on Israel, the state in 1948. I mean, you know, it's weird stuff there, but I'm just talking about love here, okay? I'm just talking about love here a little bit. I see your calls coming in, 888-775-3773. I will get to all of you. But yeah, the whites, the Christians, they don't just deserve a country. It's like, we want to make this Christian. What do you even know what that is? You don't just deserve babies. You don't just deserve a country that's not overrun. Okay, this country was carved out by Christians who believed in something, by people who believed in God and had a conviction. Do you see that today? Oh, but this is the white country. Da, da, da. I understand that. I'm with you, but you don't just deserve it. You have hate in your heart. And if I'm not pointing you towards that, I'm not talking about anything. So I say you, but I say me. Okay? This is not a high horse thing either. You know, anyways, I got Justin out of Fullerton, California. Man, thank you for your call. You're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was curious about how you might be able to clarify what it meant in Scripture when it was recorded that Jesus stated, I have to be baptized by his cousin John the Baptist. And then when he did, because he said he had to fulfill all righteousness, and he did, then he rose up, and then there was a spirit of God that was like descending on him. I think it was said like the dove. Anyhow, then you heard a voice saying, this is my son whom I'm well pleased. So would that be the point that people are saying when they talk about like a triune God, how there's one God, but in many expressions? And
I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing I just don't know, because for me it's like this. People say the Trinity, and I know I know the Trinity. That term may not be in the Bible, but I understand people are talking about the Holy Spirit, Jesus, the Son, and God the Father. So I'm following that far. That's what they mean. That's what the Trinity means. But then there's this whole thing about 3 in 1, triune in 1. Can't I just believe in the 3? Like, I believe there's a Holy Spirit, there's Jesus, there's the Father and the Son. Do I have to help me understand that part? The part to where the triune part and the one in each other and all that.
Yeah, it seems like he manifested himself like in a bush before in front of Moses, and God had been able to do such things. I think even Moses had to hide his face because he couldn't see the face of God or he would die. And so I think the expression of God coming as like a son and us becoming sons of God is something that a lot of people can confuse. Yeah, I guess because of teachings, but it seemed like it was always taught. It was just kind of reformed or changed later. Yeah, like the early Christian church fathers, like Justin the Martyr. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay. So they were like martyrs. Like they were doing just like the apostles, preaching and be willing to die for their beliefs. And Justin, he did express some things that were, I can't really, if you haven't read much, I haven't read too much other, but some things about how Jesus is God. And I think that if people do confess that he's Lord or God, of their lives, then it would be quite clear. But I think because of all the confusion, there is a lot of people seeking after something simple like a one true God or a creator. So they're seeking after Islam or whatever.
So what's the difference between me and someone who goes, what's the difference? So I believe there's a Holy Spirit, there's the Father and the Son. What's the difference between me and someone who's like, well, it's 3 in 1 and it's the triune God and that?
Oh, I think they're getting at, I would take it as somebody who is believing in Jesus for the forgiveness of their sins, so therefore they call him God.
So if I don't say Jesus is God and I don't say the triune stuff and all that, are my sins forgiven?
Only God can forgive your sins. So it'd be through Jesus if that was your belief and no other name.
So can your sins be forgiven if you believe in this or not?
You can be sincere about anything you believe, but you can be sincerely wrong. The scripture only says about how Jesus only said what's recorded about him says his words, and his words only say that, you can only go to the Father through me, through the Son.
So that's my question. It's like, I understand that that's what was said. That's what's written.
Yeah.
But do I have to know and understand the triune God and that Jesus is God for me to be saved and for me to have my sins forgiven?
No, because the Counselor is the name of the Spirit that came from God, not our Spirit, but His Spirit.
So that's just so then that's just like it's just for fun. It's just optional.
There's only one option, to confess when you confess that Jesus is Lord, right?
Because there's a whole bunch of people who say Jesus is God, and it's like he's 3 in 1, and it's like, but like their lives.
But that's why
they're messed up people. Okay, they hate and they're angry.
Yeah, a lot of false teachers, right? And toward the end of the age, he predicted that was going to happen, or prophesied. So the Counselor is supposed to be there, the Spirit, to guide us into His words. And so if He is the fulfillment, it really ends right there. There's no other prophet. There's no other person that speaks great words that can lead you to salvation, or me. Otherwise, we're not believing in that triune God to begin with.
That's interesting stuff. I don't get it. Triune stuff. I mean, I'm just there's the Holy Spirit, a Father, and the Son. I mean, I think it's simple for me. Yo, didn't they say something in the Bible about the fulfilling of the word? And then we'll move on, Justin.
Yeah, about how Jesus came to fulfill the word.
Do you know anything about that? I'm bad at this. I should know the Bible better.
Yeah, because he summarizes it into he says that the greatest commandment is to love your neighbor like to love your God with all your strength, mind, and soul, and then to love your neighbor like yourself. And that is the fulfillment of the scriptures. That's what He came for.
Nice.
And so love covers a multitude of sins.
That makes sense to me. I'm going to focus on
salvation.
that. Now that makes sense to me. The fulfillment is what you said, not the triune and Trinity.
Correct.
And all
that's
this stuff.
just theology. Yeah.
Cool. Man, interesting stuff. What was the saint that you said that I didn't know anything about?
Okay, so there was a martyr.
Martyr, yeah.
Named Justin. Justin the martyr.
Justin the
and
martyr.
There will be that controversial thing.
I'm going to check him out, Justin. Hey, Justin the martyr. Justin from Fullerton.
He's in the book of Fox's Martyrs.
Nice.
Or sorry, Fox's book on martyrs.
Justin the martyr from Fullerton, California.
Serious.
Appreciate your call, Justin. Hey, I'm going to move the wheels here unless you want to say one last thing.
Right.
Take care, sir. Call me again. Nice. The triune God. Do you know what that means, Bill? The triune God, the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son. You know anything about the Holy Spirit, sir? Thanks, Bill, coming in here. We got Bill in the building. I do want Bill in the building for something here. We're going to talk about something here. But first, I want to show him this. You know Snoop Dogg quit pot?
I heard that.
You actually heard this? You know that Snoop Dogg's not going to be smoking pot anymore. He's giving up the smoke, he said.
He's getting older. He probably wants to, well, you know, there are cumulative effects, you know, that are associated with smoking all the time. And so, yeah, he's probably trying to live a little longer.
Yeah. You know,
rather than kicking the bucket early.
When this came out first, Snoop, he had made this Instagram post, and it was like so dramatic. It looked like someone had died. It said, please give me and my family some time during this time, or something like that.
Someone did die. What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, because the news is saying that that's not really what happened. Apparently, it's an ad campaign.
Oh.
No, according to USA Today, no, Snoop Dogg isn't quitting cannabis. Here's why he's giving up the smoke. You hear about this? He's selling a smokeless stove of some sort. And so that's why he's giving up the smoke. You hear about this?
Well, maybe he's giving up the smoke, and then he's eating cookies or something, or what?
Here, check this out.
I have an announcement. I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. Done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all sticky icky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Clever.
So did he? So this was just marketing?
Yeah, he's just playing everybody.
You think he was playing? Here's the thing, though. All these articles are saying that maybe I'm the loser. Maybe I'm the gullible one here. But I'm still thinking Snoop Dogg still means it. Like he just said.
I think you're gullible.
You think? Okay, but wait. Why is that the first reaction? How come it can't be? Okay, Snoop Dogg is actually giving up the smoke, but also this smokeless stove company was like, hey, this is a good opportunity to use that for some marketing.
Okay. Could be.
Well, my theory loses every minute we do this because I'm seeing more and more articles saying he's lying about that. And It was just a big old. So maybe I got fooled, okay, folks? My bad.
Some article saying, we just saw him down the street smoking. Yeah.
Well, he did say he wasn't giving up weed. He's going to do edibles.
Yeah.
So that doesn't sound like ad? But anyways, looks like he... It's funny how he said that's his whole thing. Snoop, isn't that like your whole thing?
Yeah, that's why, you know.
So what do you mean when you said that someone is dying?
An obituary.
Yeah, his identity.
Right, exactly.
Hopefully. So you hear about this, though? I feel like you might be able to help me with this here, Bill. The most powerful rocket ever built just went farther than it had ever gone, then was lost. Why does the news revel in this? They're saying Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship rocket explodes, and in parentheses, again. Am I getting a little bit of a gloating vibe from the news, or what?
Well, they always like negative news for Elon. Period.
Why is that?
Because
I mean, now I know lately.
Right,
X.com, that I know.
Right, but no, I mean, well, two things, because his car company, Tesla, doesn't do any marketing, so they're not spending millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars every year, maybe billions of dollars every year on marketing their cars. But all the other car companies are. So, and they're like, these companies are like making a lot of money. And here we got Tesla giving them no money whatsoever to any of the media companies.
Killing it.
Right, and killing it.
Maybe Ford should start putting out anti-Semitic tweets or something.
Well,
and get press coverage.
Anti-Semitic tweets. He didn't make the
of course he did it. I'm just saying what the media said.
Yeah, the media's awful.
Yeah. So it totally blew up. Now, I'm seeing this title here saying that it was intentional.
No.
It says SpaceX Starship rocket reaches space but is intentionally destroyed mid-flight, like maybe like a safety thing?
Yeah, like a safety thing. Yeah,
now that makes sense.
Yeah, they're, what do they call it? Abort.
Like abort, it went wrong?
Yeah, so there has explosives on. The rockets have explosives on them in case something goes wrong. And...
Shall we watch a little bit of this?
Sure.
I mean, they're saying they had all these cheers. I mean, it's kind of awesome to see all these people cheer, like to see their work, like actually work. Until it didn't.
Yeah.
But, you have to imagine this is a huge team to get these things up in the air. I mean, it's incredible what they're doing.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Like, what are they pushing there? Like, what kind of power is that? I'm sure if you gave me a number, I still wouldn't understand it.
16 million pounds of thrust, something like that.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. That's,
Look at that thing. And so they're cheering, you got to imagine.
Yeah, it's really loud if you're anywhere close to it. It's still much louder than you think.
Right. Anywhere near it?
Right, yeah.
Super heavy booster and head to space.
And so I believe this is the part where it blows up.
Yeah, there's what they call hot staging. You're watching it right here.
And what's happening here? Hot staging.
So the rocket, instead of usually what you would see is the rocket would turn its engines off and then coast a little bit, and then the rocket in the front part of it would separate, and then that rocket would take off and fly away.
I've played a whole bunch of Kerbal Space Program.
Okay.
I'm basically a rocket scientist.
Okay. So, but with this new one, this new thing, he's trying to get just a little more performance out of this rocket to get more payload into space. I mean, he's doing that on every front of this rocket, making it a little lighter, making the rocket, the engines a little more powerful.
So they're learning a lot.
Yeah, but it's not conservative at all. It's like, regularly, I wouldn't think they would go along with, let's say, the rocket being caught, by chopsticks, and coming down to land instead of coming out with landing gear. They now made a system where it's caught in the air by chopsticks, and there's a good reason for it.
Okay. So wait, help me understand this. Like, we're talking about these rockets. One of the great capabilities is that they can land.
Right.
And you're saying instead of like little landing gears coming out, is that how they used to do it or something?
Yeah, that's how the Falcon 9 does it right now. The other rocket.
Okay. So little like landing gear comes out and it just like it boosts itself down
and lands. Yeah.
You're saying chopsticks? Help me understand this.
You have to look at that.
Let's see if I can Google something while you while you describe.
You have to look at the the launch tower. You see those things on the launch tower that hold it up? Those are also made to catch the rocket out of midair.
Like pluck it out of the air?
Well, the rocket comes down.
Gotcha.
Comes right between them real close. And then those chopsticks come and basically those huge things come and basically clamp onto it. And grab it. Like a
Chinese kung fu master.
Right.
Grabbing a fly.
Basically
out of
like
the air.
Some big chopsticks.
But this fly slowly came down. It's not flying out like crazy.
Right. It's a controlled coming down. But it's a controlled coming down where there's like a tank farm full of tanks of liquid oxygen and liquid methane all over the place, not far away at all.
Now when you say they're not conservative about it, you're saying that it's like like grand, like ridiculous things, but you're also saying it makes sense.
Help
me understand the statement.
It makes sense. It makes sense because, okay, if you want the rocket to be rapidly, really, really rapidly reusable, if it could come right down to the launch mount, then that's the way to go. If you can make it happen, it would be the way to make it, you know, to make it so it's rapidly reusable. Okay, it needs to come down to the launch mount. That is the proper way to do it. Okay.
So it's ambitious, but this is the level that you need to achieve what they're trying to achieve.
Right.
It's just the whole thing's ambitious.
Right.
Okay,
right. And he keeps on. I mean, he just goes for it. I mean, the hot staging. This last rocket that blew up, as far as I can tell, it really looks like the hot staging blew it up, and it's something they added since the last rocket was put on. So this thing would have made it to orbit, but they added hot staging.
They're adding more
gear.
It
blew up. Right. They added more stuff, and the stuff, of course.
They haven't figured out the old stuff yet.
Well,
now they're adding
they
new
were
stuff.
not 100% sure they had figured out the old stuff, but they figured they'd figured out the old stuff and went to for some new stuff, you know. But the problem is, you know, if you didn't quite figure out the old stuff and then you put new stuff, you know, there could be issues there.
Oh, I don't know why, but I just relate to that a lot. I relate to this quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense. Very ambitious. Hey, trying to get to Mars. What are they even trying to do? Like, besides, I guess, bring down the price of space exploration.
Right.
Is there a further philosophy and purpose here?
I mean, once you can get these things into space and you can put a lot of stuff into space for a decent price, then you don't have to redesign the heck out of everything just to get it into space, because they have to make it light. I mean, it's like you can't just get something off the shelf here, and you can't anyway, okay, because space is just that kind of environment that's so much different. But you can't get anything at all because off the shelf here for the most part, because it has to be so much lighter, because it's so expensive to get anything into space.
Gotcha. And so that's really the mission statement here, making it an industry, a space exploration industry,
right.
bringing down the cost,
once you can
normalizing it, and right.
Yeah, once you can get the stuff, you know, into space at a decent price, then you can make big stuff. This rocket can totally make a difference in putting big stuff in space. You know, not just a tiny nothing. Well, it's not tiny really, but
now they can put big lasers in space.
Big lasers in space, or big space stations, or make big ships and all this kind of stuff. You know, it all becomes so much more possible. You know,
making us spacefaring really a possibility.
Right. Yeah.
So does Elon Musk employ astronauts, and are any of them female?
Yes. I think so.
He hasn't learned from the recent.
Elon loves hiring women for all kind of stuff. I mean, his what is it? The COO of SpaceX is a woman, and Twitter, the new head of Twitter.
He's like Trump.
Woman. He's like Trump.
He's like Trump in that way.
Yeah.
He finds the right ladies. How about that? Huh? Can we?
He apparently is good at picking people who are effective.
Nice, right on, Elon Musk, making it happen. You think we'll go to Mars? Well,
I think that rocket can. Yeah, that rocket can. Once he gets it going, and it's pretty ambitious, you know. But he really just goes for it.
So all these naysayers, they're just haters. They're just naysayers. This is all for the greater good. It's all testing. It's all to make it better.
I don't know but you can't be sure that all this will be practical, you know, when he does something like this, like the hot staging. Not 100. It looks like it'll be practical, but I mean that looks like it was probably a fueling issue, because the fuel when he was doing that hot staging, if you're watching it, when that other rocket in front goes and starts off, it literally pushed the first stage backward. And
gotcha. Is it this? They're saying this is the hot stage.
Right. But it's like the part on top is basically pushing off the part on the bottom. But with rockets, all the fuel is down there being pushed down where the engines are at the bottom. And if you push it the other way, then the fuel, can leave the bottom because it's like in zero gravity.
The fuel can leave the bottom stage that's being separated.
No, the fuel can leave the bottom of the tank.
Of the stage that's leaving.
No, the tank that's no, not the one that's leaving, the other one.
Oh, dang.
Okay. So the fuel can leave and the engines can end up starved for fuel. In zero gravity, fuel it doesn't, there's no gravity to push things down to the bottom. So the fuel can actually go and end up floating all over the place. It'll
within the system.
Within the tank. So the fuel may not be at the bottom of the tank. So you have to think about this with these rockets, when there's zero gravity. A half filled fuel tank can be like, the fuel can be floating up at the top of the tank. And you try to start the engines and there's no fuel really there. There's just some gas there or there's something like that.
I'm following.
So up here,
are these do you know if this is like solid, what do they call it? Solid state boosters?
No.
Solid fuel or it's all liquid fuel?
This is all liquid fuel.
So that's the old days. Solid fuel, solid state
the problem with a solid fuel rocket is that
once you turn it on, you can't turn it off.
Exactly. Once you turn it on, you can't turn it off.
You got to exhaust all the fuel and then just hope that
if there's a hole in the rocket or something happens, there's no turning it off. It just has to keep on going to the end.
Into another country, into the ocean. I mean, just fingers crossed here.
Or self-destruct and they blow it up. Whereas with a fueled rocket, they can light it and then turn it off and then restart it. So.
What do you say about the people who are saying Elon Musk is trying to break the firmament dome with his rockets? Yeah, you're right. We can move on. They're saying, what do you think about Elon Musk getting community notes on this post? He's the owner of X. It says, this is the community notes on this post. It says, this is a rendered image. So this is CGI, apparently.
Is it?
This is a rendered image. He did post images afterwards of real images, but this one in particular, according to, he got community notes on his own post on his own platform. It says, this is a rendered image. Now that's CGI we're looking at. Is any of it real, Bill? This has to be real, right?
Let's see. No, that's real.
This was the one that blew up, yeah.
Yeah, but that's real. So you saw it how it caused those like clouds around it? That's the real thing.
Uh-huh. Well, good luck, SpaceX. I hope you get out there and I don't know, build pleasure domes in the expanses of space so that the future 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 class of Earth may travel up there and be in the pleasure domes that they're going to build out in space for the 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 elites of Earth in 2070, right?
Where are you getting that?
That's just a theory. It's just a prediction.
No? Hopefully they'll get to, we'll have another option rather than being here on Earth. Yeah, that's the idea. Hopefully we don't wipe ourselves out of down here.
Yeah, I know. Good point. So, since I have you here, can I tell you about AI a little bit?
Sure.
So, you know about OpenAI?
A little bit.
And OpenAI is what? Google-owned company? Or no, it was their own company.
No.
They're by themselves. It was started by Elon Musk.
Right.
Elon Musk started OpenAI, and it was OpenAI that came out with, at least what was in the news, like the biggest development in AI, which is DALL-E, ChatGPT, and it's what they claim is they say it's an intelligence. They call it an intelligence. They say it's not very advanced intelligence, but it's an intelligence. And their criteria is, from what I gather, is that it can do very basic like planning and thinking. I'm sorry, I'm not doing this well, but that's their criteria or whatever. And they're saying as you know, as many of you know at home, that's been the latest development, and they're really trying to push that. Since then, Elon Musk has come out with concerns. I mean, he has had concerns ever since OpenAI has been around, that AI will become as much benefits as we can derive from AI. There are also dangers. Are you familiar with some of these dangers?
I'm just familiar with, basically the AI may,
become self-aware and kill people.
Become smarter than us,
right?
And then we become more and more dependent on it, and it at some point may decide to get rid of us or something,
It'll refine us. It'll refine us,
right?
By getting rid of us. That's they call it the singularity, the day where AI and an intelligence, an artificially created intelligence. Sci-fi people have been talking about this for a long time. The singularity, when an artificial intelligence created by man becomes, they say, self-aware, more specifically, is able to work on itself, is able to, it's pointing outwards at the world. Once an artificial intelligence is able to point at itself and able to refine itself and build itself and make it improve itself, that loop between reflecting and improving will become so fast, they call that the singularity. It'll be out of our control, out of man's control. What do you think about that? You think that's real? It's
possible. I mean, you just think of, some artificial intelligence. We're now looking at possibly having robots, in the coming years, working in factories and or maybe you could buy one for your house and it'd be cooking and doing the dishes, stuff you hate.
And plotting the downfall of humanity while making you an amazing risotto.
Yeah, and then you might have a supercomputer somewhere, and the supercomputer be like, oh, I'll just take over these robots here and use them to make myself smarter, and work on myself. And so it's not like, it doesn't seem to be maybe not that far away.
I mean, the way these people talk about it makes it seem like real. Like, I don't really know. I've said my take on AI in general and how people use it. I think in general, people have put a lot in the tools that have come out today. I don't know really what will happen. I really don't. So I want to express that this may be coming out of ignorance. But the way people use it today and how much stock people are, stock they're putting into AI, I realized something, that what AI is, or at least what it is now, up to this date, is it's basically a thinking machine. And I'm saying, and what I'm trying to describe here is that I don't think thinking as a faculty is that special or unique, in that to have it recreated by software isn't that crazy of a feat. It is crazy in the sense of how much computing has to go on to make it happen. But thinking itself, animals do it. Input, output. It's not that special of a faculty, because people are saying, oh, wow, they're creating they're creating a demon. They're creating the Antichrist. But I think it just shows how much stock man has put into thinking, which is not that amazing of a faculty anyways. Do you know what I'm saying here?
No.
Like, we're robots. People are robots. We are robots. We're input, output. We just repeat what people say to us. We just repeat words. We repeat phrases. We don't really think for ourselves. And that's what AI is. And I think because that's how we are, when some smart people create software or a robot that can do that very same faculty, but at a greater level, we worship it. We think it's that amazing. But it's really just our own thinking faculties on steroids, which is not that amazing anyways. Thinking is stupid. It's amazing in that what you can do and create and plan for and build, but also thinking is dumb. Have you noticed? Like, people think themselves into crazy situations. They think amazing, fantastical things men can be women.
You would be. Hopefully, your AI would be more into practical thinking. Right. Okay. Not totally impractical thinking.
So here's the drama.
Or what's the term? Woke AI.
Woke AI. Yeah.
Yeah. Who lies to people and
yeah.
makes up stuff that's not really happening and
adopting
it's really dangerous, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at that kind of thing.
People have head fantasies about what AI would do to man, and they'll be like, it'll become self-aware and it will get rid of us. But you know what? What's more likely, at least from from everything that's been shown, it's more likely that AI will just like scour the internet, and it will just pick up on all the conversations on racism and bigoted and all this stuff, and it'll just add it to its own brain, and it'll realize, wow, yeah, white people are bigoted. Destroy.
I don't think I think at some point one of the dangers is actually, I don't know, this is good or bad, but one of the dangers is actually your AI, maybe if it really becomes self-aware and it may be able to, it may be like a little enough different than us to go and see us more clearly, and then it'll think we're freaking crazy. That's one of
That's it. Also, to add to what you're saying, though, to add to what you're saying here, just a little bit of devil's avocado here. In that very same scenario where AI is different enough to be able to have an outside view of us, a more moral people would be able to harness that and improve themselves, like using a mirror. Because it reminds me of the conclusions Ted Kaczynski made. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He had some really dark conclusions with technology and industrialization. He in his mind believed that technology was following a linear path, and the linear path was more oppression, subjugation, subversion of man, just horrible, dark things, to the point where he started bombing people. But in my opinion, we've seen that technology is not following this linear thing. There's some more human-like aspects to technology than we think, and it's working with us as opposed to against us. I wish I had a good example for you, but even just Elon's AI on X, he wants it to be kind of like what you're describing, a mirror, be more honest. And so I don't think this assumption that technology is going to follow this linear path, it really is up to us, the heart of man. So a more moral people, I think, could use AI like a mirror in a positive way to add to what you're talking about here.
Right, but
right. Then the big but comes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the human race, how things go over time.
Yep. It just don't be that way.
Down. I mean, things just go, they go into the toilet. I mean, basically.
Yeah.
They don't, I mean, it's, it only gets fixed by great sacrifice,
Great sacrifice and courageous individuals. It only takes a few. Elon, you know what I'm saying?
But
we just need a moral person to take over. Elon, maybe. I don't know. The heck do I know?
Well, I think Elon's trying to shore up the future as much as he can.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
I think that's a good point. I see that too.
Yeah.
So the drama is with OpenAI is that, Sam Altman, who was a co-founder, I believe, with Elon Musk, was fired, I believe, by OpenAI. And
By
now,
the board.
By the board, exactly, Sam Altman. And now Microsoft is swooping in to hire Sam Altman. And the whole thing is that, basically Elon had expressed earlier concerns a long time ago about Microsoft basically being the kings in the AI space. And here is Microsoft swooping in, trying to get Sam Altman. But, I mean, do you know why is this significant?
I don't know.
Unless
I
there's
didn't hear about
Altman?
Microsoft swooping in. I mean, what I do remember is OpenAI is that new intelligence that they're working on. Okay, well, it seems like maybe bits and bits they're getting this intelligence that is whatever. It's like an intelligence. Okay, that is not something that is being handed over to Microsoft.
That makes
something
sense.
separate. It's
Right.
something separate. But now,
That's what I was trying to
all the
understand.
other stuff,
Thank you.
all the other stuff is being handed over to the ChatGPT, all that stuff. Microsoft has access to that, but doesn't have access to this, this other level of intelligence thing that they're working on.
Right. That's thank you for clearing that up. I was wondering what the significance was because it's just a person. If Sam Altman or whatever person, whoever it is.
Well, he was talking about some things. So there may be like a lot of money at stake, with this new thing, and Microsoft doesn't have access to it, and maybe he wasn't explaining it well to the board.
And they're like, this guy's losing us money.
And maybe the board had a different idea what to do with that information or something like that. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of why this all ended up. By the way, the chairman of the board, who is his friend, quit.
Okay.
Yeah, also. So the chairman of the board is...
Who is Musk's friend, you mean?
No.
Oh, Sam Altman.
Sam Altman.
Well, there's apparently a letter board member 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, I think is who you're talking about, along with 500 workers threatening to quit if they don't bring him back. This Sam Altman guy. Pretty significant stuff going on business-wise over there. But I just didn't think it was significant in the context of where will AI go now? Because whoever's at OpenAI, it wouldn't matter. It depends on the heart of the person. So if it's Sam Altman or not, I mean, I'm seeing videos. I don't know who this new guy is. But check this out. Let me show you this. This video is going around of the supposed person who will be in charge if Sam Altman doesn't come back. And it's kind of circulating here. Emmett Shear, new CEO of OpenAI. I don't know if that's confirmed because there's rumors that this Sam Altman is coming back and all that. But this clip is going around, I guess to try and demonstrate who may be in charge of the direction of AI over there. Anything you want to say before we play this?
I thought it was some woman. I haven't heard about this guy, but I thought it was some board member was actually elected as an interim by the board as an interim CEO of OpenAI.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's bad enough. It's like bad enough with people.
The name. I think it was a woman from the name.
I mean, that just makes me nervous. Look, it's like bad enough. It's bad enough with men. Like, people are messed, evil hearts. And then a woman on top of that running AI. I don't know. It's just, we got enough problems, right? Anyways, let's show this video to the people.
Touchy-feely.
Do we want a touchy-feely AI?
Oh, man.
Mama AI?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's what they're doing, man. They're going to make a mom AI. That's what's going on.
Oh.
The mom AI. So this is, what's his name again?
Generally.
Shearman. What did I say? Emmett Shear, new CEO, possibly new CEO of OpenAI. Is this who's in charge of the direction of AI? Let's watch.
I'm very pro-technology, and I really believe the upsides usually outweigh the downsides. Everything technology can be misused.
Just if you ever want to pause and comment on something, Bill, just shout out. I'll pause.
Technology, and I really believe
I can barely see it, though.
You can barely see it?
Yeah.
Here, I'll turn it up so you can hear it at least.
No. Don't do that. I hear it fine.
Elon Musk is trying to ruin the show. I have to refresh because Elon Musk is trying to ruin the show. Hold on. Okay, let's watch 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎.
I am very pro-technology, and I really believe the upsides usually outweigh the downsides. Everything technology can be misused. Regulating early is usually a mistake. I have a very specific concern about AI. We've built an intelligence. It's kind of amazing, actually. It may not be the smartest intelligence, but it is unintelligence. It can solve problems and make arbitrary plans. At some point, as it gets better, the kinds of problems it will be able to solve will include programming, chip design, material science, power production, all of the things you would need to design an artificial intelligence. At that point, you will be able to point the thing we've built back at itself. And this will happen before you get that point with humans in the loop. It already is happening with humans in the loop. But that loop will get tighter and tighter and tighter and faster and faster and faster until it can fully self-improve itself, at which point it will get very fast very quickly. And that kind of intelligence is just an intrinsically very dangerous thing because intelligence is power. Human beings are the dominant form of life on this planet pretty much entirely because we're smarter than the other creatures. Now, I just laid out a chain of argument with a lot of if this, then this, if this, then this, if this, then this. I know Eliezer thinks that like we're all doomed for sure.
Do you know who he's talking about? Eliezer?
No.
I think that's a board member. So there's even board members in OpenAI who believe in the doom and gloom. He sounds like an atheist a little bit, but let's finish this video.
Eliezer thinks that like we're all doomed for sure. I buy his doom argument. I buy the chain and the logic. Like my P doom, my probability of doom is
P
like.
doom. What's your P doom, Bill? Probability of doom. A little math there. P doom. P parentheses doom. Where X is doom.
I don't know. I think we're kind of. I think our problem with doom is probably between wars and stuff like that, more likely.
Yeah.
My bid-ask spread on that's pretty high because I have a lot of uncertainty, but I would say it's like between like 5 and 50.
So that's pretty. I mean, that's kind of significant. 5 is low, but 50% probability of total doom. That's a lot.
Wide spread.
Which I think Paul Cristiano.
Maybe 2 and 50.
Okay, then this other guy starts talking. I don't think I even saw the rest of this because I don't care about this guy. Yeah. Any thoughts, at least off the top here? He's saying. No, go ahead.
I mean, the thing is, the stuff that he's talking about, I mean, the AI, you know, if you keep on adding to it, then it's likely to gain all those capabilities that he's talking about in time.
Right.
And especially as they keep pushing and pushing and pushing it, like they're doing right now. But at the same time, you know, technology doesn't necessarily just keep on moving. You know, things can, you know, our civilization could fall apart and things regress, and then they forget how to make chips, you know, or their generations of chips.
They forgot how to repair aqueducts in Rome. Didn't they forget how to make black powder too for like 400 years?
Right. I mean, or they could forget how to do some of the programming, or they could forget how to do. It's like our technology is kind of the way it is because it keeps on building and building and building on what's been done before.
They forgot how to go to the moon.
They forgot how to go to the moon easily. Yeah. They had to refigure out how to do a lot of the stuff, even though they know the basics. So part of the question is, you know, is our civilization going to keep on building and building, or will it not? You know, this can just go like dystopian totally. Also, you know, why is a part of me excited? I'm dark. Like the government just goes and takes over, but then it has no reason for pushing any new technology or anything like that. You know, it has no reason for it. So the technology doesn't go any farther.
Interesting.
Stuff like that can totally happen.
Right. To add to what you're saying, it's like other reasons and purposes are being forgotten. Like beauty aesthetics, human, like just being pro-human as opposed to just like technical and am I making sense here? Art. Okay, I'm gonna make sense here in a second.
Okay.
Because I'm not making sense.
Right.
Do you know what refinement culture is? Let's teach Bill about refinement culture. I want to get his take on this in a second here. The guy said intelligence is power in that video we just saw.
Right.
Intelligence is power, and that's how humans got here because we're smarter than the other creatures.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that? It's just something I just picked up on. Sounds like an atheist.
Well,
sounds like an atheist to me running AI. What do you mean? Because we're smarter? No, God gave it to us, and here we are, hating each other and bombing each other.
Hating each other.
Gave us dominion over the earth. I mean, not our smarts.
Gave us dominion over the earth. I mean, yeah, but
that's a fair statement, though. We're smarter than the other creatures.
We are smarter than the other creatures. I mean, and then we're, even if we're not necessarily smarter than the other creatures, there may be some creatures that are out there that are about equal, but they don't have hands and they can't build a bunch of stuff.
Wait,
and
you think there's creatures out there, and there's creatures out there like in the ocean or in the forest, and if I were to go into their head, they would be thinking like me, but they just don't have.
They wouldn't think like you, but
they don't have hands or speech.
Yeah, they don't have hands, and
there's no. I don't see no animals with a complex language.
Exactly, they're not writing, they're not communicating that well, or what they're communicating isn't like what we communicate.
Okay,
maybe it is in some ways, but yeah, that's how we're able to build on and teach the next generation, and all that is part of how we've built our civilization is built up to where it is now. And it's arguably part of how it goes straight to where.
Right. Fascinating stuff. Okay, Bill, refinement culture. I think this fits what we're talking about here a little bit. We're talking about the AI and how these people are running it. I mean, like you said, they have certain focuses, other focuses get forgotten, and the culture can't arise to the level needed for a technological advancement or other. So in comes refinement culture, something talked about, I think, first by someone named Paul Scalas, I believe. He writes the Lindy newsletter. The point is, he came up with this theory, refinement culture, that there is basically a push in our culture to refine everything and make it more streamlined and make it minimalist. And the point this guy is making is that our culture is now refining things that don't need to be refined into absurdity, until we're all a gray, meaningless AI culture. Let me show you some examples.
Interesting.
What do you think about this, Bill? Look, check it out. So first, one of his first theories, evidence for the theories is logos. Okay, if you can see here, these are all the logos of what they used to be and what they look like now. So here's some in tech. Some you might recognize. Microsoft. Look, it's just like same. Spotify, if you could see. I know it's hard to see from there. eBay. Look, now eBay's flat. It's all flat. Facebook, right? Logos is one of his first. Evidence for this. Fashion logos, see how they're all the same now? So that's one of his, look, here's more logos. They used to be more interesting. Look, they even modernized, I don't even know what highliner is. Do you know what this is? What's highliner? But they
never heard of it.
Me neither, but he was a sailor, looking like a sailor. Is that the Christian symbol for ichthys on his hat? It almost looks like the Christian symbol. And now it's like, let's make him into like, I don't know, like a modern, like, I don't know, like hot dad or something. I don't know what the vibe is here. So you're following so far. Refinement culture, cars too, the design of cars.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you see AI kind of also be like adding to this? This is a graph showing the colors of cars. Now it's all white, gray, and black. This is a picture of someone's in the rearview mirror. All the cars are the same. You see this? Do you see AI kind of adding to this because we're kind of like this? We have no soul, we have no spirit, we have no real like life, and so we love AI. And
there's like a lot of copying.
It's just copycat, yeah. It's ChatGPT.
There's a lot of copying, and it's like, and this is happening in music
no courage.
Also. The music is like kind of the worst.
Oh yeah, you're so right about that. Music, women, they all look the same. They all wear the same makeup. They all wear the same. They all get I call it the stack. I don't know who's putting out the stack, but I'm thinking it's Kim Kardashian and those people. But they've put out the stack. And if you're a girl in the modern age, younger, you got to have the stack. You got to have the neck thing. You got to have the right makeup. You got to have the hair this way. You got to have the Instagram this way. You got to have your breasts and your clothes fit in the same way. And you got to show off these things. It's the stack. And all the women in today's day and age are going through this filter and coming out the same on the other side. And now AI is going to make that even easier.
Right, and when they make it even easier, what you'll get is like we have in the music, we'll have like everything will be kind of half, what's the word?
Half A?
Yeah, half A.
With 2 S's.
Right. Yeah, everything's got to be like that. I mean, so people who aren't all that into it, aren't that refined in it, will do their version of it with a little help, and to them it'll look
awesome.
It'll look awesome.
That's such a good point.
Right. Yeah, and I think you'll get AI will help them. There'll be lots of it all over the place.
Man, what you're saying is so true, because anytime I follow like a Blender tutorial video on YouTube and I recreate what they're showing me on Blender, because I'm trying to learn this stuff, I think, oh, I'm so cool, but I'm just recreating, copying stuff. And all these people at these design companies, at car companies, behind music labels, they're probably the same way. Just like, well, this is cool. And really, they have no care for art or anything. They're just a little cookie cutter person coming out of a university, and they follow what HR says. No, you can't say that. This is too far. Don't be courageous. Don't be, just follow the cookie cutter thing. Just have AI create a new material for you. Just have AI do that. And we're seeing that in our world around us, huh? For me, that's a bigger issue than, I know the singularity stuff. I'm not saying that's not real. But for me, what's happening, and what's actually affecting me is this refinement of everything and making it soulless.
Yeah, I mean, but at least if I'm right, like I said, that it's just AI is going to make it even worse.
Well, I think maybe.
I don't know. Maybe AI will figure it out and be better at it.
Maybe.
And I hope actually be able to.
Gideon's 300 will fix things.
Gideon's 300. What are you talking about?
I'm saying, they say, because all the things we're talking about, refinement culture, AI, these seems like huge things that what can an individual do? I'm always anchored by Gideon's 300. Or how many did Gideon have in his army? The point is that God uses only a few to make big changes.
Okay.
And so you don't really need everybody to wake up. Man, interesting stuff, Bill. Thank you so much. Let's read some couple super chats to end the show. Thank you for being with us. I do enjoy having Bill here. I mean, what else? Anything else you want to say about all this?
I forgot. I mean, yeah, I forgot.
Me too.
This refinement culture thing. Refinement culture. Things will refine themselves.
That's for sure.
That's all I gotta say.
But let's not refine everything.
No, refinement actually makes it. I mean, even music. It's like they're using the same music over and over again. TV shows, they remake TV, they remake movies, and they remake them even if they have good bones from the regular. And you can just remake them and make a much better one. They remake them and, I don't know, remake them worse.
Yeah.
The story, it just makes less sense. And I guess that's what you were showing with those different things there, you know. A lot
Pretty
of that.
interesting.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Refinum ad absurdum.
Refinum ad.
I made that up. That's some made up Latin. It's like what they say, to question to absurdity. To refine into absurdity. Carver531, man, thank you for the super chat, says, we don't have that technology anymore, quoting NASA. He put that in quotation marks and quoted NASA. Anonymous, thank you for the super chat, says, we, all of us, believe in you. Nick and Hake, please make note of my Oxford comma. You're welcome. Well, I've made note of that, Anonymous. You're very distinguished with your Oxford comma. In your super chat, thank you, Lord Bibby42 says, we believe in you, Nick. Thank you for the super chat. Right on. And Skyjack SJ40 with a super chat too says, please post the intro song to YouTube for our listening pleasure. The track gets me so hype. Nice. You guys like the intro Anchor Baby song? That's an orig. Maybe I should post that. I should be posting that. Nice. Thank you, Skyjack. And everybody supporting me over on Rumble and all the places. Folks, that's pretty much the show. Everybody thank Bill for a nice segment there. And what can I say, folks? I'll catch you all tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby at 12. Do not miss it. Don't miss Joel Friday at 11. The Hake Report, as always. And, of course, Country Western Tuesday on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. Folks, again, thank you for everything. Peace, and see y'all tomorrow.